All righty, the screen says we are live, so I'm inclined to believe it. How are we doing? Big day. Big news just breaking. We'll get to that in a moment. Well, I mean, there has just been it's been quite a week. A lot of shit going on. And we'll discuss a little bit of it. First, just some housekeeping at the top of the show here. As you see, rolling across the bottom of your screen, the stream is moving to Wednesday nights in November. I still haven't landed on if it's gonna be 7:30 or 8. Definitely by 8, it will be rolling. I wanna be able to sit, watch the local news and everything, and then hop on and do this. So I'm thinking somewhere between 7 and 8. 7's too early because that's right when the network news wraps up. So 7:30 is probably it, but sometimes I move slow, so maybe 8. So we'll see. We'll toy with it, and eventually we'll land on a spot. But that'll be the new night for the time being. I'm sure life circumstances may shift it around again at some point, but it will in the not too distant future. It will be Wednesdays for a while. Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moyler, Moyler, YouTube at Mike's Golden Streams. And of course, the audio podcast is available wherever you download podcasts. The Savage Sacktap, check it out. I was a bunch of news stories to get to today. Some very just interesting shit going on this week. But first, I was at Comic-Con all day. I was bouncing around in the city. And I had, first of all, Comic-Con is so fascinating to me because there are some really hot cosplay chicks. And they really will. I mean, they put on quite a show with some of those outfits. But it's also like the world's biggest gathering of virginal men that you've ever seen. It's so interesting seeing those two groups sort of exist side by side. And it's always one of the most fascinating sort of things, how there are some guys in that comic book community who have cracked the code, and you see them walking around. Usually, like, there are a lot of couples where there's like a hot cosplay chick, and you see she's with a cosplay guy, and then they're just surrounded by guys who look like they used to shoplift from Hot Topic in high school. Just that greasy, matted hair, the dark sort of shapeless sweatshirt. I was in the bathroom at the urinal, and normally, like, if you go to a sports bar or a game or something like that, the etiquette is sort of that men will always leave a urinal in between them when they go to piss. At Comic-Con, you have to do that because nobody can fit into the middle urinal. So there just have to be, there's a guy over here and a guy over here. No one is going to effectively squeeze in between those two to use the urinal in between them. You just kind of have to wait it out. Either because they are morbidly obese or because they're like fanboys and they're carrying these bags full of merch. A lot of adults buying toys at Comic-Con, but it's good. It's a fun event every year. I can only stick around for so long. I don't do well with like large, slow moving crowds. Like, I like to kind of zip in and out. Like, I don't, just doesn't work for me. That's why I struggle on the streets of New York City. It drives me so fucking crazy. I was walking around Midtown today, of course, because that is where Comic-Con takes place. And I was like, I always wonder, the biggest thing I always ponder is, because there's so many tourists there, what attracts people to that neighborhood? Because it really is it's a fucking dump. There's not a whole lot to do. There's Broadway if you're going to a show, but otherwise the best restaurants in the city aren't there. The best nightlife isn't there. there are a lot of bars. That chunk of Midtown is a big hub for like the Irish pub. There are a lot of those. Then obviously, if you go over to Hell's Kitchen, there are a lot of gay bars. But if they're the one thing, but there are Irish pubs all over New York City. They're just literally, you can't throw a fucking rock without hitting an Irish pub in New York City. So it still doesn't make sense why so many people go there just to go to Times Square or Midtown. And the only thing that I could think is that they kind of want to experience what the New York City hustle and bustle is like. Like they just want to be swept up in the crowd. That's really the only and I only landed on that today because usually I'm out of the city by noon. When there's something different about being in New York City around the evening rush. That might be because my morning, I get in at the start of the morning rush, so it's before the heaviest volume of people. But the evening rush is always a little bit more aggressive to me, and I think it's probably because then you have all the tourists and the day trippers and stuff are out and about as well, and I think there's a little more frenzy to it. People really wanting to get home and get the fuck out of there. But I could never figure out why people wanted to come visit that part of the city. And I was walking around today and it was kind of like, they always do like the iconic shots of New York City in like a movie, especially from the 80s or the 90s. And it would be up and down one of the big boulevards, and you'd see like just the massive crowds of people kind of walking to and from. And there has to be some attraction to just seeing that. The way if you're from New York or where I'm from, densely packed New Jersey, you want to go out and see like the Grand Canyon or the mountains or something like that. These people must be coming from all over the fucking place, and they want to see what this looks like in real life. Like but they want the grime and the shitty hustle and bustle. They look one way on camp. Like, what's it like to be on the ground? So that was the only thing I could figure out, and it would be if you were coming to town and you hadn't been to New York, a thing to do would just be to get fucking afternoon hammered at one of these Irish bars, eat a burger, and just walk around this dump, kind of looking at homeless people like they're in an exhibit in a zoo, and sort of watching the rush go by, which is also why they don't give a fuck about how slowly they're moving. They're fucking pleased to clog up the sidewalk. Just an observation on my part, something interesting that I saw. It's Paul Crosby, good to see you. 420, happy Friday indeed. Edna Krabopoli, happy Thanksgiving, Abe. Why don't you go to the fridge and get yourself a soda? Listen to some Kim Mitchell. But that was that. And as Edna is reminding us here, Columbus Day on Monday, the original Italian American, as he has been called. Big day for Chris Columbus. Donald Trump. First he brings what I assume will be a long-lasting and fruitful peace to the Middle East. The people of Israel and Palestine will never bicker again. Everything is going to be good. And then today, I see that we're back, Italians. Trump ditches Indigenous Peoples Day to honor Christopher Columbus. Yes, we did it. This is USA Today. They say Trump has issued a proclamation celebrating Italian explorer Christopher Columbus as the original American hero and accusing his critics of slander. He says, outrageously, in recent years, Christopher Columbus has been a prime target of a vicious and merciless campaign to erase our history, slander our heroes, and attack our heritage, reads the proclamation, which Trump signed October 9th. Yeah. We're calling it Columbus Day, Trump said. What a day. We love the Italians. We love the Italians. We're back, Italians. Oh, yeah. Just drink it in. In an April social media post, Trump railed against what he described as an effort by Democrats, those Democrats, to destroy the explorer's reputation, saying his political rivals tore down his statues and put up nothing but woke, or even worse, nothing at all. Yeah. What just, it really is, it's the hating Columbus is just like one of the, it's really the same guy who wants to tell you about how Columbus was a murderer and a rapist and all that is also the guy at the Super Bowl party who tells everyone about head injuries in the NFL. It's the same, I do the New York Times crossword puzzle energy is that kind of guy. Well, actually, Columbus did some pretty horrible things. It's like, all right, shut up. You know what? It used to be fun to get a half day off of school. It was great. Everybody loved Columbus Day. Would celebrate Admiral of the Ocean Seas. He sailed the Ocean Blue, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. It was all good. We had a nice, tightly packaged little story. Italian Americans had someone to be proud of, to help stake their claim in America and fit in. And all of a sudden, a bunch of ivory tower douchebags, academics, and again, guys, like I bet Jim Halpert probably hates Columbus. Like if we expanded upon the Jim Halpert character from The Office and had him in 2025, he'd be like one of those guys drinking an IPA, being like, "But come on, I mean, you have to admit he did some pretty horrible stuff." Like he would, he'd be one of them. But yeah, what a day! What a day to be an Italian American. We've got Columbus back. Thank you, Discount Dog. Good to see that you love Lazy Eye News. Fuck the haters. Are there a lot of haters of Lazy Eyewitness News? I certainly hope not. But every once in a while you scare up a few. Chucky D, good to have you here. Paulie Walnuts would be proud. Edna, yeah, what a day. It is fun. That's the thing Trump is doing. We haven't heard anything about the Epstein list, but he does fun things like this. And you know what I appreciate? I appreciate that he's not even running for re-election. Like he just said, let's throw the Italian Americans a bone. And you can take, because he loves Jack Chittarelli too. Here's Chucky D giving us the full comment. The same guy who gets pissed off about Columbus Day gets pissed off about Kendrick or Bad Bunny being the halftime show because he can't understand them. Frankly, I don't know. I'm not a Bad Bunny guy. I don't, the whole reggaeton thing, I've just never gotten into. I think it's because so many people just blasted out their fucking car windows here. But he does seem to be, he's got quite a following. People seem to like him. I don't know. I don't know when the Super Bowl halftime show became such a hot button thing. Like, who gives a shit about the halftime show? And I don't even mean to say that as like, oh, it's just for chicks or whatever. It's just kind of um uh Edna, you're talking about Gersh Kuntzman. Gersh Kuntzman. Uh, the halftime show just it doesn't, and it's probably also because I'm not like the music I listen to. You wouldn't do a halftime show with, like, no one's bringing in Tiesto for the halftime show. Um, but people take the halftime show very personally. Like Taylor Swift demand, like trying to hijack it, and then people nitpick. They really nitpick the halftime show. Like they're like, oh, this was the worst halftime show, or they'll declare it the greatest ever, and they really deep dive into it. And I'm always amazed by the attention that the halftime show gets. That's always been incredibly confusing for me. I've always felt that halftime of the Super Bowl is usually because the Super Bowl is a very big eating holiday for me, as I assume it is for everybody else. Like I just feast all fucking day, and usually halftime means we're either about to roll out the final sort of like what's the last snack that's coming out for the second half, or it's like a dessert time. There's a dessert coming out, so you kind of want to get up, stretch your legs, maybe it's getting late. Maybe that's where you're going to have your last alcoholic beverage so you can still get up and function at work tomorrow. Just all of that's going on. I don't know. I'm not live music performances. I feel like are always. Well, I'd rather listen to the studio version. The good one that you put on the fucking album. Like I'm not into the live music. Like why do I want to hear this version of your song that's worse than the album version that I could be listening to? So just for me, there's not much appeal there. I like to get a little snack, refresh my drink, and then you don't want to waste too much time during the game checking in on Twitter, but Twitter is such a big part of the game now that you do kind of want to see what kind of shit people are talking, what they're saying about some commercials, what's going on, what there's the fun on the field stuff. So I don't know. The halftime show is sort of, I was paid attention last year because we all wanted to see if Kendrick was going to call that guy a pedophile. But anyway, talk loves the halftime is when all the cousins go smoke a joint in the garage. Are you confusing halftime with Thanksgiving, Turk? Anyway, yeah. So speaking of the NFL, this provides us a nice segue. This Mark Sanchez thing is like, I think everyone knows what happened by now. There's not, you get into the nitty gritty details, but Mark Sanchez somehow got into a fight with a food delivery truck driver and one who's almost 70 years old and wound up getting stabbed. And now he's facing a bunch of charges because apparently he was drunk and attacked this guy. And I don't do whatever Mark Sanchez. I don't have too much of an opinion on him. I found him very funny as an analyst. He would say entertaining things. But more of what's interesting to me about this is if you have ever, and I have been, and many of my friends have been, if you have ever been a blackout drunk kind of guy, you see this and you're like, on any given night, this could have been me. Like, not that you're necessarily a violent person or that you start fights, but if you're not a blackout, if you've never been a blackout drunk guy, there is something, the blackout just takes you places. People do things when they're blackout drunk. They truly have no idea that they're doing them or that they've done them. And it's not like a subconscious thing that's driving them. It's simply the blackout tells you this is a good idea, do this. So you do it. Like there's no, you lose all sort of understanding of consequence, of responsibility. Things take on like heightened importance. Things that aren't important become incredibly important. Like it's a wild thing, and oftentimes, of course, the blackout is accompanied by the use of other substances. It's not purely a booze blackout. And what I think a lot of people, if they've never drank to this level, don't understand is that if you're the kind of person that drinks to that level, the alcohol doesn't knock you out. It turns into like a stimulant and it just charges you up, and you wind up having like these absurd amounts of energy. And again, oftentimes there are stimulants combined. People like they may like to toot a little bit. They may like a little Adderall. All sorts of shit going into the system during a blackout. But like getting into a fight with a food delivery driver and getting stabbed is like, if you go through the Rolodex of all your blacked out nights with all your blacked out friends and all of the stories you have, you're like, oh yeah, there's a considerable chance that one or two things go the other way, and one of us is getting stabbed by a food delivery driver. Like it's not, this is like to say that obviously Mark Sanchez, you don't want to do this. He's 38 years old. You gotta, at some point you have to stop. You have to learn how to drink without getting to that level. And I had the benefit of the lockdown and all that shit to kind of learn how to just, I really didn't, I drank a little bit at the beginning of the lockdown, and then for the most part did not drink during the lockdown unless I was going out. I was having some fun with the apps, as it were. So if I was meeting up with a social young woman on like a Bumble date or something like that, then I might have a couple beverages. You meet for a few Chardonnays and see if you hit it off. But the end of my blackout period was probably my early 30s, I guess you would say. And even looking back on that, like, it's a wild age to still be getting aggressively blackout drunk at. But it is, if you don't know any better, you just think everybody is at that level. And there are a lot of people when you go out to party locales who are absolutely blackout drunk. So there are enough other people who are blackout drunk around you that you will kind of think that everybody is blacking out, and also that it's really the only way to party. Like that's a big part of it is you lack the understanding that you can go out and just have a few drinks and you'll still have a lot of fun. Like you'll have like a light buzz. Things will be very funny. You'll connect with your friends. It's actually much easier to meet women with just a light buzz than it is when you're blackout drunk, even though you will get laid when you're blackout drunk, because there are women who are blackout drunk and you'll just kind of cross each other's paths and fall instantly in love. She may be hot, she may be hideous. It doesn't matter, because you're both blackout drunk. You'll find out after. You'll find out when you wake up, brutally, cripplingly hungover. I remember being amazed when I found out you could go out and wake up the next day without a just world-shattering fucking hangover. I was blown away. I thought that everybody. I did not know that when you went out at night, not everybody was blackout drunk. And I have like the fact that like my brother never froze to death from falling asleep on a lawn. or never got shot for breaking and entering, or just all of this stuff. Because I know so many people who have committed minor crimes while blackout drunk, and it's not hard to escalate. So Godspeed, Mark Sanchez. Star-crossed drunks. Indeed, Adam. Yeah, that's very much the way it is. If you go into, especially in like a good vacation locale, like a Myrtle Beach, a Fort Lauderdale, Jersey Shore, where there's a lot of just people who are single and ready to mingle, sucking back like sugary, high, hard liquor content drinks during the day. You're just gonna see a lot of people sloppy sucking face all over the place. It really does, Wayward Native. It takes you where it will. That's the only way to describe it. Passing out drunk in the snow in a dress. Jesus Christ, your poor genitals. And speaking of, I love these two chicks. These drunk New Jersey sisters who were arrested after having a meltdown for being kicked off of Frontier Airlines and attacking a worker. So is there actual body cam footage of this? Oh my, there is. Let's have a look. I was just going to describe all of it, but let's see if it's raw footage, because this is from news.com.au. So this may not be raw. This may just be, oh no, it looks raw. Good. Then let's go ahead and share this.
I can't. I'm literally. Relax. I can't. I literally can't.
Your leg.
First of all, Jesus, I mean, this chick looks like fucking H. Foley. Let's learn a little bit more about these girls. It was in Orlando, at the Orlando International Airport. So I wonder if they stayed in the hotel the night before. This was back in May. Kira Lyons and Maura Flores. They're sisters. Kira 22, Maura 31. They were down. The bigger one looks like she could be a Disney adult, but this is not Disney adult behavior. It was the short, skinny one that first pushed me, and then the bigger, she had to catch herself saying the bigger because she didn't want to be the Frontier Airlines worker didn't want to be accused of fat shaming, I guess. Holy shit! This is talk about a full-figured gal. Let's see a little more of this.
Okay. Please search me and take these off. I don't want to lie. I can't. I'm literally.
Relax.
I can't. Literally can't.
Okay.
Oh my god, I would stay over here. I have anxiety.
She has
Anxiety and depression.
First of all, literally every chick on the planet wants to tell you about their anxiety. There's no, that somehow 15 years ago they all figured out that they have it. Everybody has anxiety. Literally everybody, every human on the planet has anxiety. If someone tells you they have anxiety, the appropriate response is me too. I'm confused. I mean, I guess if you attack someone on an airplane, maybe it is. it's technically a federal crime, but it's still just assault. Like, they didn't try to hijack the plane or anything like that. Like, you get like a slap on the wrist for this kind of thing. You don't need to have a full-blown freak out. Like, you're getting arrested by the local cops. Like, you're not getting dragged off by the FBI. Like, they don't think you're the fucking shoe bomber.
Yes. Yeah, that guy pushed her to the ground and she fell. We were on a plane. She had to use the bathroom. And they asked her, they go, "Are you intoxicated?" She goes, "Yeah, I had a few drinks." And that was it. Flight attendant pushed her. The man pushed me. You said it.
Few drinks. That was it. Yeah, you got to get fucked up when you fly. I get it.
If you're gay, it's fine.
Okay, what is the, you need medical attention? Yeah. How old are you?
This is, if you can't quite see it, she's very large. She's got a considerable chin underneath her chin. It looks like they gave her some sort of ice pack or something like that. This guy could not be more fucking annoyed. I mean, he is just, I guess this is the captain or the pilot. He wants to push off. He wants to get home. Probably, well, they're flying presumably back up to Newark. He maybe wants to check into a hotel with the flight crew so they can get on with doing cocaine and cheating on their significant others with each other. This is the airline industry. We got to keep it moving. We can't have fat chicks clogging up the gangway.
Do we have any witnesses? Okay.
This guy looks like, by the way, if Brazzers was shooting a BBW video, this looks like every guy who's fucking an overweight woman in a Brazzers video. Like, he's got the little fucking chin patch there and the shape up and the slight gut. So look for them in an upcoming feature.
You are the person that was dealing with. So what happened?
And I was there because I'm taking a seat.
Okay, so what happened?
When they informed me that she was intoxicated, I had to call a GSC, which is my supervisor.
28.
He showed up. They started screaming. They were in the aircraft. I got asked to call you guys because they weren't leaving.
Okay.
So this is, I guess, this is the maybe the flight attendant that they beat up. There are a lot of, it's hard to tell who is who because there are so many overweight women in this video. I mean, like, this chick in the background is not doing so hot either. But let's see what happened.
She finally left the jet bridge. I was kind of following them out a little bit. I told him to retract the jet bridge. She turned around, got in my face, and said, "You fat." I said, "Thank you." She turned around, or when she was facing me, she pushed me.
Okay.
And then turned around, and then the sister came up and shoved me again, which I tripped over a Liz.
So both of them hit you?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I tripped, and then my shoe, and I fell on the ground.
Trying to figure out.
Not for nothing, though, but shouldn't we have, I know it's the whole equal opportunity and DEI and everything that we have to hire overweight women for jobs that used to go to young, attractive women. Shouldn't we be hiring in a post 9/11 world, like, flight attendants who are just absolute shit kickers and who could just pummel anyone into submission? Like, if this gaggle of drunk chicks from New Jersey, which they're from Manahawkin, by the way, according to the article, which is perfect. Manahawkin is right across the bay from Long Beach Island, which is Long Beach Island is like, it's the Hamptons of New Jersey. Like, it's the low key secretly where celebrities in New Jersey go to summer. I think what Taylor Swift was down there for a wedding a couple summers ago. So that it attracts that strata of people. But you go across the bay, and you have Manahawkin, which is it's like the coastal Alabama of New Jersey. The Stafford Township ShopRite is just a fucking it is quite the gathering place. All walks of life mingling there, literally from the highest echelons of society down to people who are the picture of methamphetamine addiction. But we can't have we need, let's roll 9/11. We need the kind of flight crew who's going to be able to take down fucking Muhammad Atta and ditch the plane in a field somewhere in Pennsylvania. That wasn't Atta. Atta was successful. It was Ziad Jarrah, I believe, was the pilot of was it United 93? We can't have some big fat broad who's going to sit on the ground crying because she got into a little shoving match. Come on, what happens? What are you doing when the fucking box cutters come out, lady? Come on. Let's go. Do your job. All you get to drunk. All you got to do is step back. She's going to fall on her face.
If it was like him trying to guide you guys out the plane,
no,
or he
no,
intentionally pushed you guys?
No, it
Which
was to my boobs.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
the B one.
That's you got to throw that in for the potential sexual harassment. That's a good move.
And I'm sorry because I understand.
So did he push you with the intent to hurt you?
Sorry.
With ill intent?
He was just trying to get us off, out as fast as possible.
He was just trying to get you guys out.
Out as
That's
fast
what
as
got me
possible.
fired up.
Okay.
Put my hands on my sister.
The bigger one of the two is again just sunburned, a couple tattoos, bleached blonde hair. Like that is the kind of chick that you bang when you go on vacation to Florida or Point South. Like that is the absolute kind of broad you find just waiting around the pool in Cancun with one of those big vase-shaped frozen drink cups, and she's just fucking rocking them back. She's got the all-inclusive wristband on, and she is down to have a good time, as it looks like they were having down here. Let's finish this thing up.
No. Okay, wait a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm calling Stuart. I'm calling Stuart. I'm not
Settle
leaving
down.
her.
Stop.
I'm not leaving her.
Stop.
Are you kidding me? Okay.
Be cool. Here.
Ma'am, back up. Back up.
I love how she's screaming, "I'm not leaving her," like she's being separated from her husband at an ICE detention facility. That is very, very dramatic. Like you guys, what do they get charged with? What's the article say these broads got charged with? Like a drunken what have you, or some shit? What are the charges? They got to be in here somewhere. Come on. Lyons and Flores were both charged with first-degree battery and disorderly conduct in the second degree for allegedly assaulting a gate agent. Oh, so it was just the gate agent. They weren't even on the plane. So that's not even federal. That's like local Florida's 9th Judicial Circuit. That's the kind of thing a Florida judge gets two drunk chicks shoving somebody on his desk, and he gets mad at the prosecutor for bringing the charges. Like that in Florida, this is, I thought they were on the plane. It gets a little dicier because it's federal and it's, they don't care about this kind of thing in Florida. Yeah, they both sisters had their cases closed and referred to a pretrial intervention program on September 17th. Yeah. Once the program is completed successfully, criminal charges against the defendant are dismissed, as they should be. You go to Orlando, Florida, anywhere and you go, I would say anywhere south of Virginia. No, because Virginia Beach is there, and you got Ocean City, Maryland. Yeah, anywhere south. If you're vacationing anywhere south of Delaware in the coastal United States, and you get into this kind of incident, you shouldn't be criminally charged. That's just part of it. It's part of the experience. Yeah, well, good for them. I'm glad it worked out. Sounds like they got a decent attorney. Good time, ladies. Good time. Philly Fathead in the house. Semper Fi, brother man. You rough one last night for the Philly Fathead. The Phillies and the Eagles taking big time L's, my friend. I'm just I know the Eagles are a little banged up, but the Jackson Dart Cam Scadaboo show last night was something to behold. Although I don't know how long those two, and you never know. It's the NFL. The NFL is, you can watch it your entire, it just remains a mystery. Things just go the way they go. But the way those two play, just go slamming head first into everyone, you do wonder what the lifespan on that is. You love it. You love to see it. Like, it's exciting football, and it's great to see. Like, it's great to see fun to see a quarterback putting themselves on the line, and this spirited running back just crashing into people. Like, that's a very exciting game to watch. I hope they never win a Super Bowl, but it's exciting to watch. But in the NFL, that is a tough thing to sustain. Like, eventually people do start headhunting. So we shall see. Who else is out there? Shane and Silent Bob. Howdy. Good to have you. Good to have you checking in. Yes, Edna. Yes, BPD is. Trust me, I know that is a lot of white women have that one. Nick Johnson, brother man. Good to have you here, brother man. Brother man, brother man. I was watching E-Rock's full critique of that individual, and boy, he did not hold back. Holy shit. Scathing would be the word to describe it. So the last thing we'll touch on here, Katie Porter. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Katie Porter. She is she a state rep or a U.S. representative from California? Okay, so she's running for governor in California. She used to be a congresswoman there. So Katie Porter is, the liberals love Katie Porter because I guess she was a teacher, and she would do it's so weird talking with earbuds, and it's always so nasty when you pull them out and there's a little earwax on there. Quite gross. Quite gross. I didn't have to tell you about that. You wouldn't have known. Now you all think I'm disgusting. Anyway, so Katie Porter, she would be on the floor in Congress, and she would write things out on it was like a chalkboard or whatever. Let's see if I can find an image of it. I don't know if it was like an erase board. Yeah, she would do this thing. Let me pull up an image of it real quick. 1 second. She would do this. So she would teach lessons, and she would scold. She's a big scold. Like, that's her personality, is the personality of a scold. She loves to scold people. And regardless of your politics, I do not like a scold. I hate being scolded. I don't like people who scold people. Just go fuck yourself with your scolding. I do not like scolding. And that is all she would do. Apparently, there's some excerpts here in the Post from her divorce papers. And you obviously always take that with a grain of salt because, people, when you're getting divorced, you bust out the most, aggressive stuff that you have. But this says her ex-husband, Matthew Hoffman, who filed for divorce in 2013, detailed that the Democrat, who has a reputation for exploding at her staff, abused him verbally and threw toys, books, and other objects at him during their marriage. He filed for a restraining order and said that she would routinely call him a fucking idiot and fucking incompetent, and shattered a glass coffee pot in their kitchen when she felt the house wasn't clean enough. Jesus Christ. What a fucking... She would not let me have a cell phone because she said you're too fucking dumb to operate it. But how does a 51-year-old man allow his wife to not own a cell phone? That's confusing to me. But men who are controlled by their spouses, or people who are controlled by their significant other in general, or have a situation where they have to ask that you got to, I have to ask, like, that always blows my mind. Unless you're using it as a built-in lie, I have to check. That I understand and respect. If you're using your spouse or significant other as a built-in lie to get out of things, I have the utmost respect for it, and you should. You should always, when trying to weasel your way out of things, you should always be willing to use whatever you have to, because doing things sucks. If you do a lot of things, eventually you just want to sit the fuck down, and people won't let you sit down. So you have to lie so you can find time to sit down. That's just it. But this says, when she gets angry, she will claw and scratch her arms and then say to me, look what you made me do. She regularly says that I'm a bad parent in front of the kids. Recently, the children began spitting at me and throwing their food at me, calling me bad daddy. And I mean, yeah, she is... I mean, I'm so, I want to opine on this, but I just keep reading paragraph after paragraph of things that she's done. In 2006, Porter blew up over how he was making mashed potatoes, snapping, "Can't you read the fucking instructions?" before she raised a ceramic bowl of steaming hot potatoes and dumped it on my head, burning my scalp. Like, this is like, it's almost slapstick. It's almost like vaudevillian. Like, you wouldn't think that, even like, you would think an abusive person, after a while, you would think like that they just slap you, knock you to the ground, they hit you with their belt. Like, we've all seen that. This is like if like the Marx Brothers or Abbott and Costello were doing domestic violence bits. They'd have a steaming hot thing of fucking potatoes ready for the mash and dump it over your head. Yeah, the testy lawmaker, now vying to replace Gavin Newsom, faced a wave of backlash after resurfaced footage exposed her furious outbursts and nasty remarks. So there's been a couple of these, and we'll we'll take a peek. We have there's another one. Holy shit, there's so many. I thought there were only 2, 3, 4. I guess there are 4. Are there really 4 fucking? That's one. Oh no, one of the videos I believe is just a campaign ad by someone who spliced some of them together. Let's see. Let me pull them all up. If you know, I'm not very good at pulling up videos. It's not one of my skills. Here's one of the. I got one of them. And what's this other one? A lighting issue. Holy shit. Let's see if I can find the link. I'll All right, we'll start with this one, and then we'll work our way through. They're pretty short. All right, here's this one. Let's see what happens.
So Representative Porter, the floor is yours.
Oh, yes. This is why I didn't want to do, I need the lights off, the bright lights.
That is
I'm
poorly
so
lit.
sorry, but I am about to get on. Bernard, I need you to turn these off. These that are killing me. Hang on one second, everybody.
No, we should put the computer up on it.
Yes, yes, we should have. Yes. Okay, everybody, I'm not that dark.
Oh, she is. Yeah, you can hear her. That's very terse. She is doing her absolute best. She knows that she's on camera with all of these other people now, and you can tell that under normal circumstances, she would be just fucking berating people at this moment, but she can't because she's on a Zoom call. Let's see how this goes for Katie Porter.
It's too dark. Just a minute.
Oh boy. Did her mic cut out? No, there it is. I was wondering if she was hurling some
Okay,
F-bombs.
everybody, I'm sorry.
That is a substantial forehead, by the way. Substantial. And look at this chick in the background. She is terrified. You can see the way she's closing the door. She's working the door, whether it's opening or closing. She's moving very gingerly. This is the look of a woman who is terrified.
Sorry about that. I am in a TV studio getting ready to go on Cuomo. And so I had all those studio lights on me and I couldn't see myself or see you guys. But thank you.
So there's that. That was a very terse exchange. And then there's this. So this one I was watching earlier in the week, and I was under the impression that this was the only one out there. And I guess a lot of these have surfaced. Her assistant's wearing a mask in the background. Now, this is California, so this could actually be 2025. This could be from last week. These fucking wackos out there still masking. But let's take a look and see what happened. What did the assistant do to upset dear Katie?
And other problems, and the state could lose. Get out of my fucking shot.
It's not that it's electric vehicles, it's that if we don't need it,
Look at, I mean, she just lost it on her during, I don't know, a call or an interview. I guess Politico unearthed this. I mean, she just fucking snapped, and she did that easily. Like, it's not like, and you never know. This chick, she doesn't sound incompetent because she just fired this fact out at her like that. So this chick seems like she probably has her shit together. So I can't imagine that she's just, if someone's just such a train wreck that eventually you just snap on them. I don't think it's that. I mean, that she just sounded very comfortable doing that. Let's keep going.
Okay, it does. Okay, you also were in my shot before that. Stay out of my shot.
Who cares? Truly. Who gives a shit? Like, what? It's not entertainment. It might be mildly distracting, but I mean, there are newsrooms that do live shots with people walking around in the background. It's not a huge deal. Like, no one cares. It's people understand that if this was from lockdown, people would understand that it was lockdown, and those were the conditions that we had. Everyone was, stuck inside. Yeah. What a thunder cunt. Okay, and then there's this one. So I guess she was involved in, she was doing an interview with CBS about whatever, and they asked her a question, and she cut it short. She accused CBS reporter Julie Watts of being unnecessarily argumentative when asked about the difficulty of scoring votes from Trump supporters. So let's take a peek at that. There's just something I love about seeing a scold get a taste of their own medicine, and sort of, you love a good Ellen DeGeneres moment where it all comes to light that somebody who tried to act like wholesome, and she was one of these women who was leaning in. Remember, in the 2010s, it was very important for women to lean in and take up male-occupied spaces. She was one of the people who was doing that, and as it turns out, she actually is kind of a bitch, it seems.
Redistricting. What do you think of the governor's plan?
I support the governor's plan.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, man?
So, well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%? Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're thinking.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So
she does. I mean, this is her trying to be congenial. She's doing an interview while running for office. When you run for office, you try to be congenial and get people to like you. They're going to go out and vote for you. Now, she has this sort of smug, cocky air that the people of California will go blue no matter who, and that she can just act like a complete thunder cunt on CBS News California, and get away with it. And that there's a smugness there that people don't like. It's not charming, it's not endearing. But let's see, because she's not coming off well.
How do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you. I represented Orange County. I represented a purple area. Mm-hmm. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't
I feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not argumentative.
And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And
this is, I mean, the topic itself is it's just boring. We're talking, but electoral politics. It's not the most electric thing in the world, but she does seem very annoyed. I'm confused at how annoyed she is by this question. Like, she seems very, very, for some reason, flustered, and I'm not sure why. But she seems very bothered by it. And again, I don't know. I know California has some very conservative pockets, but is mostly like, it's a kind of a patchwork. There are some spots, but I don't know why she is so agitated, but she seems like a very easily agitated woman. And I hope they go back to a shot, just a close up on her face, because this haircut is driving me fucking nuts.
We've also asked the other candidates.
Naomi Watts, Julie Watts isn't bad.
% of California voters to win, and you're saying no,
she's
you don't.
Okay.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win.
This, whatever's going on with this hairstyle, it looks like she's wearing when she got her haircut, she asked them to do it in the style of a 1700s powdered wig. Like, this looks like a painting. Like, if you had told me that this was a painting of one of the French attorneys who oversaw the revolution and the guillotining of all those people, I would not be shocked. There was one of them, I forget his name. He was very portly, and he was eventually murdered by a prostitute. He was one of the what do they call themselves? The fucking not the sans culottes. They all had they had these political clubs. I forget it's on the tip of my tongue, the name of the French the Jacobins. Yes, that's it. The Jacobins. Katie Porter looks like there was this one guy, and I forget his name, but the Jacobins, they were all these attorneys, and they had these clubs, these Jacobin clubs that were kind of like in New York City. They have like these co-working spaces that have like bars and pools and lounges and shit, and you pay a couple $1,000 a year, and you can be a member at them. And they're douchebags in New York City think that they're exclusive. They're not particularly exclusive. You can buy your way in. It's not difficult. But during the French Revolution, they had these, and the Jacobins were one of the clubs, and they would meet and talk politics. And there was this one very overweight, chubby-faced attorney who loved prostitutes, who used to frequent them. And I forget his name, but Katie Porter reminds me of that guy. I've seen paintings of him. Anyway, moving on.
Every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that,
well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered our follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Which, by the way, asking follow-up questions, as a journalist myself, asking follow-up questions is at the core of journalism. That's why we're there. It's not ask the questions, we accept your answer, and then we just leave it at that. The follow-up is what makes someone a good journalist. Everyone knows the first question. Like, the first question is always obvious. It's the follow-up questions that get you to the answers. What what she thought is that she was so popular. The other candidates have to go through this bullshit, but she is so popular. She's so much better than all of them that she gets to walk in there and control the interview, and they're going to do it her way. But this is, you have to be an idiot. You have to either be an idiot or incredibly arrogant to do this when you know that cameras are rolling. Like, you have to either be stupid or you have to believe that people are going to vote for you no matter what, to behave this way when the cameras are hot.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an
I have
investigative
never had to do
reporter.
this before, ever.
You've never had to have a
end an
conversation
interview.
with
To end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of, I'm me, I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make.
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these. And if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you. And I don't want this all on camera.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you either. I would love to continue to ask these questions so that we can show our viewers what every candidate feels about every one of these issues that they care about. And redistricting is a massive issue. We're going to do an entire story just on the responses to that question. And I've asked everybody the same follow-up questions.
I would love to watch a show called Katie Porter Deals with Customer Service and just watch Katie Porter on the phone or using like a customer service chat app or dealing with like an incompetent barista. I want to see Katie Porter dealing with people at all levels of customer service. That's my dream. She should do a hidden camera show where she goes on Yelp and finds restaurants and stuff with like the worst rated wait staff, like horrible service, this like almost like a John Taffer kind of thing, and just acts like a complete cunt, because that she is so much more cut out for that than she is making policy. Christians, the Jacobites or Jacobins, it's something along those lines. Wayward Native, you see her on the Hill regularly. Do you spend a lot of time on the Hill? Are you a DC insider? Is that what I'm getting? Do I have a DC insider commenting on Sacktap Live? Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, she does have holy shit. What can you tell us? Drop us a little give us a little DC inside. Something. What's big? What's about to break? Who are we bombing next? Who's gay? Who had a secret abortion? Give us a little something. Give us some juice. Does she? Yeah, Paul. I remember her videos were all over the place. Again, like 10 years ago, whenever it was, when I was working in the newsroom at 1010 Wins, and I was also working for CBS New York, and like every day there would be another like fluff story that we were doing about women in the workplace and shit. And she's always been one of those chicks that they've been telling us is going to defeat a man for president or replace a man. Yes, come on, Where you got to give us something that we don't already know. Of course. Fucking Lady G. That's that, tell me a secret. But Katie Porter was always one of those who they were like, she's putting the boys in their place. She's bringing an end to the boys club. And it was just her being kind of a bitch pointing at a whiteboard. So I've always thought that she sucks. So I'm glad to see her just taking an absolute beating this week. Christian, by the way, I don't think a lot of people are familiar with the Jacobins. Are you a French Revolution enthusiast? I'm obsessed with the French Revolution. Just absolutely fascinating. I'm listening right now. There's this this podcast I listen to. It's called The Rest is History. It's these two very delightful British gentlemen talking about history, and they have a very pleasant demeanor and delivery, and they do a very informative podcast. I highly recommend it when you're not enjoying Sacktap Live or the Savage Sacktap. Check out The Rest is History. Very good show. The 10 rep per minute challenge, Christian. No, I'm not familiar. Now, I am familiar with like every minute on the minute workouts where you do however many reps every minute. So I am familiar with that. But what are the specifics of the 10 rep per minute challenge? If you're still paying attention, I'll give you a second here while I start wrapping everything up, because it is 9:11 right now. Wow. Wow, make a wish on Muhammad Atta. 9/11. So next week I have a family gathering, so probably a pre-record next week, and then I have a Halloween party the week after that. My lady friend and I are doing a couple's costume. I'm going as the shark from Jaws, and she is going as Mrs. Kintner in like a veil and what have you, slap Chief Brody. Which I thought, if you have to do a couple's costume, you got to have fun and do it like that. So yeah, a grieving mother, and Jaws. What I know would only be interesting to people in certain state delegations. Nothing wild has happened since Ted Kennedy was observed banging Ali. Ted Kennedy banged Ali Sheedy. Did she? Is this like in the 1990s? I know. If we're following St. Elmo's Fire, she was living there in the 1980s after graduating college, and her friends were just trying to get their lives figured out. But did Ted Kennedy really bang Ali Sheedy? How about that? Good for Teddy. What I know would only be interesting to people in certain state delegations. I don't know. Anything DC inside is always fascinating to me. Like, even if I find out, who's taking payoffs, who's taking kickbacks, give me a little something. A three-way at a Chinese restaurant. It's very curious. So, did they go to the restaurant with the after closing, or how do you pull that off? And also, that feels like kind of a heavy meal for group sex. Like, I almost think you have to have the sex first and then do the meal, because no one wants to have intercourse, let alone have to satisfy two women or two lovers. I don't know what the three-way consisted of, on a belly full of lo mein and dumplings. Like, there's a lot of grease and carb in there. And you get bloated because of all the salt in the MSG. I will say, though, if you had to do it, presumably in the bathroom, you usually get a pretty nice bathroom at a Chinese restaurant. There's usually like a little running fountain and some plants and maybe some soothing music and some flowers and nice soft lighting. They do have a good bathroom. So if you're gonna have group sex in a restaurant, I guess Chinese, that it's got that going. I do not remember Bob Livingston resigning as speaker, but let's Why did old Bob have to resign? I wait with bated breath. No, wait, I do not. I have been. One of my friends did throw a Bastille Day party once, but only because it was a weekend and it happened to Bastille Day happened to fall that weekend. So they threw a Bastille Day party, sort of tongue in cheek. But no, I do not. I do not celebrate the storming of the Bastille. Apparently, the Bastille was not it was not the prison that it was made out to be. There were only like a couple of actual prisoners in there. Most of the people in the Bastille it was it's where the Hanks family would send Chet Hayes in this day and age. It was basically a repository for the problem children of wealthy families, and they would just kind of hold them up there. They would take some classes, they would do some art, they would drink wine, eat a little cheese, and just kind of hang out. But some of the inmates, when they noticed a protest crowd gathering outside, started yelling about how they were, being held as political prisoners, and riled everyone up, and got them to raid the Bastille. It was Wayward Native says that Bob Livingston resigned as speaker because Larry Flint had a bounty on dirt on Republican lawmakers. Allegedly, he banged an intern, and that info was provided to Flint. It's pretty good. There's something to be said for the time back in DC when it was still all about brown liquor and fucking interns. It really does seem like it's changed. It seems like everyone's really much more about like world domination and power plays and stuff like that. It feels like back in the old days, they wanted to make their money. There was graft, but everyone, I feel like back in the day, felt like there was a big enough pie for everybody to have a slice. So they were all just kind of patting each other on the back, getting rich and banging the help. Now it seems like they all want to rub elbows with Elon Musk and take over the world. I got stood up for a Bastille party date by a Katie Porter type. I would say, Wade, in closing tonight, try to avoid going on dates with Katie Porter types, because you don't want to be seen. You never want to be seen going on a date with one. You could be seen stumbling home with one. And if people find out that you hauled off and fucked one, it's kind of like, what are you going to do? You don't want to go on a date with one. That's where it gets a date is something it's a tough one. And look, we've all been there. We've all used the apps. We've all gotten surprised, and sometimes we get carried away, have a couple pops, and who's to say what happens? But bad form. But again, we've all been there. So what are you going to do? You're better off getting stood up on that one, Wade. Anyway, let's wrap it up. It's 9:20. I have a steak to make. It's been out there. Coming to temperature, and so like I said, pre-record couple pre-records. Nick, good to have you here. Good to have you all here in the comments, having a good time. A couple pre-records coming up, and then before you know it, we'll be into November on the new night. So spread the word. Tell them the stream's moving to Wednesday nights in November, and happy Columbus Day to all. Adios, motherfuckers.